Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start talking about some of the coaching updates that we've been getting. Right, we've been getting some great coaching updates from whenever the coaches go up to them podiums to speak. We're really getting good insight, right? Like these coaches, they're not giving up too much information, but at the end of the day, what they say can really show you the direction. Like, for example, Josh McDaniels, right? And we'll just use him because this is probably the best example to use. Josh McDaniels last year and most of the coaches under him, very tight, right? Tight, buttoned up, right? Didn't really give you too much, didn't give you anything at all, really. So realistically, think about that. When they're at that podium talking and they not really giving you no damn information and no direction, really, there was no direction, period. That whole regime, you feel what I'm saying? There was no direction, period. So now when I look back at when they was giving interviews and talking, and I'm like, well, these motherfuckers never really gave direction or gave anybody any insight of what they was trying to do, period. And it reflected, right? It literally reflected. Every time they spoke in an interview or whatever, I was confused. And now with these coaches, I'm like, okay, I can see where we're trying to go. I can pretty much tell what the direction of this team will be in order for this team to be successful, or their vision in order for this team to be successful is going to be a hard-nosed, led by the defense, physical team that at the end of the day on offense is going to be a run first, wide zone team, right? We're going to run the ball down your damn throat. Now we will throw the ball and take our deep shots with the play action game of things of that nature. But if we're throwing 40 passes a game, yeah, something's wrong. I'm not going to cap. If we're throwing 40 passes a game, something's wrong. So at the end of the day, we're trying to be that team where Zamir probably taking the bulk of that, probably getting another touches sprinkled in by some other running backs, and that's what's going to lead the charge. Play action game coming to that. Now, of course, we'll be able to throw the ball with the weaponry that we have, but at the end of the day, it's going to be led by that running game. That's first and foremost, right? I think all of us in Raider Nation can pretty much agree that this is probably going to be a run first team. That I don't see no indications on nobody saying like, oh yeah, we about to be throwing the ball hella times, regardless of who starts, regardless if it's Gardner, regardless if it's AOC. We're not about to be throwing the ball hella times. I just cannot envision it. I can't see it. But with that, all right, I still think that formula could work. It could work. Could work. I'm not saying that's my favorite style. If it was up to me personally, we probably play a little different style. But okay, if that's what we're gonna go with, we can all pretty much understand. And I would say I would be correct in assessing that's the direction of the team. So if that's the case, right? What are we seeing so far, right? Because we pretty much locked into the direction of where we're going. So at that point, if the philosophy ain't going to change from them things, then we better hope that what you have in place can fit what you want to do, right? So is what we have in place fitting what we want to do so far? When these coaches speak, when we hear certain players about certain players, yes. Now, I still have my concerns, but we'll talk about that later, right? So at the end of the day, I want to go ahead and talk about some of what the coaching staff was talking about today before that mini camp practice started today, and what they were kind of talking about as far as some of the players they were impressed with. Okay, so we're gonna start with Rob Ryan, bro, because Rob Ryan was saying a lot. I ain't gonna lie. Rob Ryan was saying a lot, and he was also a very, very good interview. So if you have not seen Rob Ryan's interview so far, definitely go check that out. It was definitely a good one. But at the end of the day, right, we're gonna start off with some key points. Number one, he says something about my guy Palomar, right? And shout out to my guy Chris and Leo in the building. They know what's up. I'm a huge Isaiah Palomar fan, right? I like that. I like him. Definitely, I think he has what it takes for us to finally find that safety that can solve our tight end problems, right? I think that can be something. But he says, better watch out for Isaiah Palomar this year. This year could be a big year. So that's one thing that Rob Ryan said that really stuck out to me, right? He's talked about Isaiah Palamau, and I love that, right? Also, he talked about, and this is, we're going to start with the safeties, but this is for all the safety hate, right? Marcus Epps is so much better than people think. The Eagles blame the 8 coordinators they had, but losing a great player like that really hurts your defense. I thought that was important to highlight because at the end of the day, right, I've talked about with my guys for a lot of this time, right? When we talk about the safeties and who's going to get kept, who might not get kept, where's the money going to get allocated to, right? When we talk about who's getting paid. Epps is a very, very good player. In my opinion, I believe he's more valuable. If you're talking about 2 safeties, he's more valuable right now than Trayvon Merrick. That's my opinion. But I believe that was one of the better signings we've had because I think he completes that secondary for sure. So when you talk, think about this now. Think about this, okay? Now I'm not saying it's something huge, but just keep it in the back of your mind because I may bring this up later. All right, we see a lot of people talk about Palamau. This ain't the first time I've heard lots of people talk about Palamau. Epps, to me, is more valuable. He has the captain aspect, can call out plays, change defense, right? And at the end of the day, has experience in playoff games and things of that nature. I'm not hearing too many things about our guy, and we talking safeties, and we all pretty much know who we talking about because it's a money year at this point. I ain't hearing nothing from number 7, right? This is the year, buddy boy, right? You feel what I'm saying? This year, I need Trayvon Merrick to ascend, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and check this out. Last year's performance was good and a step in the right direction. But if he gives us last year's performance again, is that enough to pay him big bucks? Y'all let me know. That's all. You feel what I'm saying? That y'all let me know. If Trayvon Merrick repeats the same performance of last year, is that enough to give him big money? All I'm saying, I'm not saying anything too crazy right now. I'm saying is just keep your eye on that, right? Just keep your eye on that position right there, because one of them safeties that's starting this year is not going to be here next year. If they are, I'm going to be super surprised, right? I'm going to be super surprised because I believe so heavily in who else they have in that safety room, and also the money aspect. It's getting wild. It's getting wild. So before we continue, I just want to see some of y'all opinions on this, right? Just want to see some of y'all opinions. And don't trip, Rebel. We're going to talk about Lauby in a second because some people got it twisted, right? Some people got it twisted. We got to educate some peoples, right? And I love my guy Turf, but he one of them. I'm going to have to educate him. But let me see. Rob Ryan said that AP told the coaches and players to be yourself. And that's what you should do. 24/7. 24/7. Beezy says, I've been high on Palamau since we picked him up as a UDFA. Yeah, bro. I've liked Palamau. I mean, he went to USC, so watched him a little bit there. But yeah, I like Palamau. Definitely a guy that I've been saying for a while needs more tick, right? Needs more burn. So I think this is a guy, if he gets more tick, like we saw last year, it can get ugly. It can get ugly. Let's see. This team is so solid, like I've been saying. It's going to be very hard to pick the 53-man roster. We have solid depth at every position except for maybe corner. But I believe that's still solid. And we'll talk about that soon. But yeah, definitely. There's everybody has to play with their A game as far as this mini camp and as far as training camp, because at the end of the day, there's no day to breathe. There's no room to breathe. If you make a mistake, you got to look over your shoulder, bro, because not in a bad way, but just because everybody may be playing at such high of a level. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody may be playing at such high of a level. You can't make no mistake. And if you do, that may be the difference between first, second, or third string, right? You feel what I'm saying? Like, and that's the type of competition you need. It's the good, healthy competition, right? May the best man win at the end of the day. May the best man win. Beezy, people don't understand how big Epps means to this defense. Thank you. I don't understand. There was a portion of the offseason where there were people talking about Epps is trash. Epps is this. Never understood that. I was never on that wave, and I will never agree with that. He, to me, was one of the factors that took this defense to another level. He was. There's no coinky dink, right, that you sign him and a couple maybe other factors, but at the end of the day, you sign him, and now the defense is better than it was. And I don't even want to hear it wasn't good before McDaniels got fired. Stop it, right? The defense kept us in games the entire year. Now, granted, the defense was better when McDaniels got fired and AP got hired. The defense got better, but it was never garbage that whole year. Last year, it was never garbage. It kept us in games. Quite frankly, if the offense played better, we probably would have won more games that first half of the season. So let's not get that twisted. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that at all. But Rebel says, yeah, but with Marcus Epps and Trayvon playing 97% of the snaps last year, absolutely, they don't come off the field. It's going to be hard for him to get reps. You would think that, but when a coach envisions a role for a player or he plays so well that he has to get on the field, it's hard to keep him off the field. It's hard to keep him off the field. I'm telling you that right now. If they are envisioning a role for him and they see him excelling in that role and he's actually doing what they're envisioning, oh, yeah, bro, he's going to play. He's going to play. I kid you not. Because he's already doing one thing that, as much as Trayvon has improved, I will say that he struggles with. He's already picking passes off, right? He's already causing turnovers. For as long as Trayvon has been here, that is the one thing I was banking on when he came out of school. I was like, all right, bro, we going to have a ball hawk. We're going to have a guy that can find the football. Up to this point, y'all may disagree, but I've been disappointed up to this point with his ability to find and locate the football for turnovers. That's just me. I've been disappointed with that. So far, when Palomar has gotten his snaps, I've seen turnovers. That's just plain and simple. I'm going to play the dude that's going to get the ball. That's going to get the football. That's just me. So that may be a factor there. Also, another factor Chris says, hybrid safety linebacker, bro. That I can see too. He can do that. Like I said, this is a dude to me where I can see finally solving the tight end problems. Now, I'm not saying all the way, but at the end of the day, at least better than what it's been, right? At least better than what it's been. For sure. Let me see. I disagree. I think both of those safeties are not going anywhere. Did you hear the coaches talk about them? They're best friends. They're very tight-knit group. I agree. But the money ain't best friends with nobody. You feel what I'm saying? Like, money ain't friends with not a single soul, right? So when they friends now, but when that dollar sign come up next year, right? And your boy's looking at it, and another team may offer him an X amount of dollars, and we only offering them this. How much is friendship really worth at this point? That's all I'm saying, right? How much is the friendship worth when somebody offers you this bag? And we only gonna say, we not gonna give you all that. We'll give you this though. We'll see, right? We'll see. Now, this is something too, right? Got to talk this. I'm glad Chris brought this up. They're not talking Chris Smith either. That is worrying me. It's worrying me. I'm not gonna lie to you because you already drafted a safety this year. Ain't nobody talking about Chris Smith. I mean, now it's starting to look like he's gonna have to carve that special teams role, man. You're gonna have to carve that special teams role. That's what it's looking like. But too early to tell, but so far, if we're going off the tea leaves and all that other stuff, yeah, it's worrying so far that they're not talking about Chris Smith. I'll give you that. Definitely worrying. Let me see. So as we continue, right? Boom. So as we continue with the coaching interviews, right? We look at now what Coach Rob Ryan says about our guy, Malcolm Koonce, right? Says about our guy, Malcolm Koonce. And I'm hearing it from everywhere, right? This is Chris's guy. This is a lot of TRS. I mean, we all like him. But a lot of this is the second coach. Patrick Graham, number one, said he's now taking true mastery of the craft. And now you see Rob Ryan say something similar along those lines about Malcolm Koonce. Are we poised to see a huge year, right? Are we poised to see a huge year from Malcolm Kuntz? That's what I'm banking on, right? That's what I'm banking on. We need that. We need that for him, for this defense to be a top 5 defense, to be a top 10 defense. Number one, right? We've only had, let's keep it a bean, right? We're keeping it a buck. We've only had really one good year of defensive play. One, right? I mean, the year before that was okay. It was all right, right? And then you go this past year, that's good, right? But that's only 1 year, bro. We need to be consistently, right? We need to be consistently in the top 10 for us to now say, okay, we got to jump to that 5. So in order for us to be a continuous, right, and also perennial top 10 defense, this defensive line has to take it up a notch, right? They have to play at a level. And Malcolm Kuntz is that key, right? He's that key because we know what Max is going to do. You know, I say it all the time, especially when the season comes on, right? If you're new to the channel, I say this all the time, especially when the season comes. But what's understood don't have to be explained, right? When you talk about Max, it's one of those dudes, right? Certain dudes, what's understood don't have to be explained. So Max, we know what that is, right? We already understand. Malcolm, to a degree, Christian Wilkins as well, right? He's another one of those dudes that fall under that category. Kind of understand what you're going to get from that on a daily basis. You feel what I'm saying? You understand what you're going to get from that from a daily basis. But now, the wild cards are where the difference comes, right? The wild cards are where the difference comes. Like, Malcolm is a wild card. Tyree, he's a wild card. We need them to perform. And if they perform at a high level, there's no telling what this defense can be. Like, there's really no telling. We can be honestly one of the better, if not the best D-line in the entire league. We could. With what we have in the room, with the potential that's in there, that's not too far-fetched, honestly. It's not too far-fetched. You feel what I'm saying? Especially when you talk about if you go a NASCAR package and Tyree and Malcolm are what we think they can be. Yeah, it's not too far-fetched, bro. It's not. So I see a lot of hype for Malcolm, and rightfully so from what he did to end the season off. But at the end of the day, right, this is a money year. Last year was the first year I saw him in that starting role. Okay, how many games does it take for y'all? And this is where I'm going with this, because I love what he's talking about Malcolm Kuntz, but this is I got to ask the question: how long does it take for y'all to say we need to sign him to a contract extension? Is it now, or do you need a little more? Do you need a little more to say, all right, I can give him big money now? Or do you say, let's do it now and take that shot now? I don't know. Y'all let me know down below, man. Y'all let me know down below.